All right, so today we're going to be diving into some pretty wild stuff.
Oh, yeah.
The idea that our assumptions literally shape the reality that we experience.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
guys sent in this piece on Einstein's teachings, and
Fascinating stuff.
it's pretty mind-blowing. It's
Yeah.
not even just about, you know, positive thinking or manifesting. We're talking about the actual mechanisms of how we experience the world around us, you know?
It really is fascinating how this concept ties into Einstein's work.
Yeah.
I mean, we often think of relativity as this complex scientific theory,
Right.
all about stars and black holes and all that.
Right.
But
It's a little intimidating.
it can be, but what's really intriguing is how it actually applies to our daily lives.
Okay, so how does the guy who figured out emosi relate to my daily grind?
Well, Einstein demonstrated that even seemingly fixed things,
Okay.
like space and time, are relative to the observer.
Okay.
Think about that for a second.
Yeah.
Time, the thing that we feel governs our lives.
Right.
It isn't constant.
Oh, wow.
It can actually speed up or slow down depending on your frame of reference.
Mm-hmm.
So if something that fundamental is flexible, why not other aspects of our reality as well?
Okay, so you're saying that the way I perceive things, my own, personal lens could actually be influencing what happens around me.
That's exactly what this source material is exploring.
Okay.
It suggests that our assumptions about ourselves, about others, about the world, they're like a set of instructions that we're giving to reality.
Okay, but how does that actually play out?
Yeah.
Is it saying that just thinking about something makes it happen?
Well, it's more nuanced than that.
Okay.
The source uses a really compelling example to illustrate this point.
Okay.
Imagine two people both facing very similar circumstances, maybe financial hardship or a career setback.
Okay.
One person believes deep down that things will work out, that they'll find a way to overcome the challenge.
Yeah.
The other person, on the other hand, assumes the worst,
Yeah.
that they're doomed to fail, that
Yeah.
nothing ever goes their way.
Right. I can definitely see how those different mindsets would impact how they approach the situation.
Exactly. And what's fascinating is that the source argues their inner world actually shapes their outer world.
Whoa.
The person who assumes the best tends to find solutions and attract opportunities and ultimately create a more positive reality for themselves.
Okay.
The other person, sadly, often gets stuck in a cycle of self-defeating behavior and ends up reinforcing their negative assumptions.
So it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, but on a much deeper level.
You could say that
Wow.
the source claims it's not just about our thoughts,
Okay.
it's about the interplay of our thoughts, emotions, and actions.
Okay.
The more we think and feel something to be true, the more we act in ways that confirm that belief, and the more our reality reflects it back to us.
Right.
It becomes a feedback loop.
Hold on a second. Are we saying that our thoughts are that powerful that they can actually bend reality to their will? Isn't that a bit I don't know, magical thinking?
It's not magic, but it does point to the immense power of our subconscious minds.
Okay.
The source material digs into the idea that our assumptions, especially those we hold deep down, act like a filter through which we perceive the world. They influence what we notice, how we interpret events, and ultimately the choices we make.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this all connects, but
All
I
right.
need some concrete examples.
Sure.
The source mentioned people like Thomas Edison and Henry Ford.
Right.
What did they do that was so different?
They're fantastic examples of people who seem to defy the odds and achieve what others thought was impossible.
Okay.
Edison was told the electric light bulb was a fool's errand.
Really?
Ford was told affordable cars for the masses were a pipe dream.
Wow.
Yet they both achieved what they set out to do.
So how did they do that?
Yeah.
Did they just ignore all the naysayers and just plow ahead with blind optimism?
It wasn't about ignoring reality. It was about choosing a different set of assumptions.
Okay.
Instead of assuming failure was inevitable, they assumed success.
It's interesting.
They believed so deeply in their vision that they persisted even when everyone else doubted them.
Huh.
And that unwavering conviction, that fundamental assumption of success, is what ultimately shaped their reality.
So it's not just about having a positive outlook.
Right.
It's about this deep-seated belief that actually influences your actions.
Absolutely. Think about it this way.
Okay.
If you truly believe you're going to succeed at something, how do you approach challenges?
Mm,
You see them as temporary setbacks,
right.
opportunities to learn and grow.
Yeah.
You're more likely to take risks,
Mm,
to persevere even when things get tough.
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So in a way, their assumption of success actually helped them create the conditions for success.
Yeah.
They weren't just lucky, their mindset kind of paved the way.
That's a great way to put it. Their assumptions weren't passive hopes. They were active forces that shaped their actions and in turn their outcomes.
Wow.
The source argues this is what separates those who achieve extraordinary things
Right.
from those who get stuck in cycles of mediocrity or disappointment.
Okay, so we've got Einstein bending time.
Uh-huh.
We've got Edison and Ford defying the odds.
Yeah.
But how does this apply to someone like me,
Yeah.
or really anyone listening?
Yeah.
Is this power of assumption something anyone can tap into?
That's where it gets really exciting.
Okay.
The source material delves into some fascinating examples of how ordinary people have used this principle to transform their lives. And one of the most compelling stories is that of Nikola Tesla.
Oh, Tesla, the OG mad scientist.
Yeah.
What does he have to do with all of this?
Well, Tesla was known for having these incredibly vivid visualizations of his inventions before he ever put pen to paper or stepped foot in a lab.
Really?
He would see them in his mind, work through the mechanics, even experience them as if they were already real. And what's remarkable is that his inventions often matched those visualizations with startling accuracy.
No way.
It seemed like he was able to think them into existence.
So wait, he's basically visualizing his way to like groundbreaking inventions.
Yeah.
Is that even possible?
It speaks to the incredible power of the mind.
Wow.
His assumptions were so strong,
Yeah.
so vividly imagined, that they became his reality.
Huh.
He didn't just hope or wish for his inventions to work. He assumed they would.
Right.
And that assumption fueled his creativity and his relentless pursuit of his goals.
Okay, my mind is officially blown.
It's pretty amazing,
But is this visualization thing only for geniuses like Tesla?
right?
Can anyone learn to harness that kind of power?
That's a great question,
Yeah.
and one we'll dive into further.
Okay.
But before we do, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've learned so far.
All right. So,
Yeah.
okay. So we've established that assumptions can have like a real impact on our reality.
Yeah.
Even like bending time and helping people achieve what seemed impossible.
Right.
But how do we like learn to use this power?
Yeah.
Especially those of us who don't have, you know, Einstein's brain or Tesla's vision.
That's the exciting part.
Yeah.
It's not about having some kind of superhuman ability.
Okay.
It's about understanding how our minds work
Mm-hmm.
and then consciously choosing the assumptions that we want to operate from.
Okay.
It's like learning a new skill, like riding a bike.
Right.
At first, it feels awkward and unfamiliar,
Yeah.
but with practice, it becomes second nature.
Okay. I'm willing to give it a try.
Good.
But where do we even begin?
The source material suggests starting by identifying your current assumptions.
Okay.
What are the deep-seated beliefs you hold about yourself, about your abilities, about the world around you?
Okay.
Are these beliefs serving you, or are they holding you back?
So it's about becoming aware of the stories we're telling ourselves, the
Yes.
narratives that are running in the background of our minds.
Exactly. Because those narratives, those assumptions are shaping our reality,
Right.
whether we're aware of them or not.
Oh.
The first step is to bring them into the light of consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
And once we see them clearly, we can start to choose different ones.
Okay, that makes sense. But how do we actually choose new assumptions?
Yeah.
It's not like we can just flip a switch and suddenly believe something different,
Right.
especially if like our current reality seems to contradict that belief.
You're right. It's not about simply wishing or hoping for something different.
Okay.
It's about making a conscious choice to adopt a new belief
Mm-hmm.
and then reinforcing that belief through our thoughts, feelings, and actions.
Okay.
The source emphasizes the power of repetition and visualization,
Right.
especially when it comes to rewiring those deep-seated assumptions.
So like practicing a new skill,
Yes.
the more we do it, the more natural it becomes.
Think of it like
Yeah.
building a muscle.
Okay.
At first, it might feel weak and shaky,
Mm-hmm.
but the more we use it, the stronger it gets.
Okay.
And this is where visualization becomes such a powerful tool. Remember Tesla and his incredible ability to see his inventions before they existed.
Yeah.
We can all use visualization to make our new assumptions feel more real, more tangible.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Give me a practical example.
Sure.
Let's say I'm struggling financially and I want to change my assumptions about money.
Okay.
How would I approach that?
Instead of just hoping for more money or assuming you'll always be struggling,
Right.
You'd start by choosing a new assumption. Something like, I am a magnet for abundance, or money flows into my life easily and effortlessly.
So instead of focusing on like what's lacking,
Yeah.
I focus on the feeling of having what I want, even if it's not my current reality.
Exactly. You start by imagining what it would feel like to be financially secure,
Right.
to have all your needs met and more.
Okay.
Really tap into that feeling of abundance. Let it wash over you. And then you reinforce that feeling through visualization.
Okay.
See yourself living in that state of abundance.
Yeah.
Maybe you're paying your bills with ease.
Right.
Maybe you're giving generously to causes you care about. Maybe you're traveling the world.
So it's not just about thinking it, it's about feeling it as if it's already true.
Yes. The more vivid and emotionally charged your visualization, the more powerful it becomes.
Wow.
You're essentially convincing your subconscious mind that this new reality is already yours. And that, in turn, starts to shift your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors in alignment with that belief.
That's fascinating. But what about something like relationships?
Sure.
How does this apply to like finding love, for example?
It's the same principle.
Okay.
If you're assuming that you're unlovable or that you're destined to be alone,
Yeah.
you're likely to attract more of that into your life.
Right.
Instead, you could choose a new assumption, something like, I am worthy of deep, loving, and fulfilling relationships.
Okay, but what if my past experiences tell a different story?
Yeah.
What if I've been hurt or disappointed in the past? Isn't it kind of naive to just assume that love will magically appear?
It's not about ignoring your past or pretending it didn't happen.
Okay.
It's about choosing to believe that you deserve love, that you are capable of giving and receiving love despite any past hurts or disappointments.
Wait.
And you reinforce that belief through visualization.
Okay.
See yourself in a loving, supportive relationship.
Uh-huh.
Feel the joy, the connection, the sense of belonging.
So even if my current reality feels like the opposite of what I'm trying to assume,
Yeah.
I can still shift my experience by consistently visualizing and feeling the desired outcome.
Yes. Because what you're doing is changing the underlying belief system,
Okay.
the foundation upon which your reality is built.
Okay.
It's like planting a seed. You might not see the sprout immediately,
Right.
but with consistent nurturing, it will eventually grow into a strong and vibrant plant.
Okay, I'm starting to see the power of this.
Yeah.
It's about more than just positive thinking. It's about actively shaping our perception of reality.
Exactly.
But what about something like health? Can we really assume our way to better health?
The mind-body connection is incredibly powerful.
Okay.
And there's growing scientific evidence that our thoughts and beliefs can influence our physical well-being.
Okay.
We've already talked about the placebo effect,
Right.
where people experience real healing simply because they believe they're receiving an effective treatment.
So if a sugar pill can work because someone believes it will,
Right.
imagine what consciously chosen assumptions can do.
Exactly. Instead of assuming you're prone to illness
Okay.
or that you're destined to struggle with certain health conditions, you could choose assumptions like, my body is strong and resilient,
Okay.
or I am filled with vibrant health and energy.
Right.
And you can reinforce those assumptions through visualization, imagining yourself feeling healthy, strong, and full of vitality.
I'm sensing a theme here.
Yeah.
Assume the best, feel it is true, and watch as reality adjusts. It sounds almost too simple, yet so profound.
That's the beauty of it. It's not about complicated rituals or mystical secrets.
Right.
It's about understanding the inherent power of our minds to shape our experience.
Okay.
But it's also important to remember that it's not a magic bullet.
Right.
It takes effort, it takes consistency, and it takes a willingness to challenge our old limiting beliefs.
Right. So it's not about denying our current reality or pretending that everything is perfect.
Yeah.
It's about choosing a new perspective, a new set of beliefs that empower us to create a better future.
Precisely. It's about recognizing that we have more control over our life than we often realize. And it starts with the assumptions we choose to operate from.
This is incredibly fascinating.
It is.
But I imagine there are skeptics out there who would say this is all just wishful thinking, that we can't simply think our way to a better life.
There.
What would you say to them?
Of course, there will always be skeptics.
Right.
But the evidence, both scientific and anecdotal, suggests that our minds are far more powerful than we often give them credit for. We've talked about the placebo effect.
Right.
But there's also research showing that athletes who visualize success perform better.
Really?
That patients who believe in their healing recover faster. And that people who cultivate a positive mindset are more resilient in the face of challenges.
So it's not just some new age woo-woo.
No.
There's actual scientific backing for this.
There's a growing body of research exploring the mind-body connection and the power of belief to influence our reality.
Okay.
And beyond the scientific studies, there are countless stories of people who have transformed their lives by simply changing their assumptions.
Wow.
They've gone from struggling to thriving, from feeling stuck to feeling empowered, all because they made a conscious choice to believe in a different reality.
It's like they're rewriting the rules of the game by changing their internal programming.
Exactly, and the source material makes this point very clear.
Okay.
The people who master this principle, who consciously choose empowering assumptions, they tend to live extraordinary lives. They're not bound by circumstance because they're actively shaping their own reality.
No, it's not just about luck.
Right.
It's about mindset.
Luck might play a role, but it's their mindset that makes all the difference.
Right.
They assume success where others see failure. They see solutions where others see problems. They see opportunities where others see obstacles.
Okay, this is all starting to click for me.
Good.
But it also makes me think about, like, the flip side.
Yeah.
What about the people who are constantly assuming the worst, expecting negativity and hardship?
Right.
Are they essentially creating a self-fulfilling prophecy of, like, doom and gloom?
That's the tragedy highlighted in the source material.
Yeah.
Most people never realize they have this power to choose their assumptions.
Wow.
They go through life assuming mediocrity, struggle, and limitation.
Right.
And guess what? Life delivers exactly that.
Because their assumptions are shaping their reality, even if they're not doing it consciously.
Exactly. It's a self-perpetuating cycle.
Nope.
But the good news is, it's a cycle we can break.
Okay.
We can choose to step off that path and create a new one. A path that leads us towards the life we truly desire.
That's incredibly empowering.
It is.
So what's the first step?
Yeah.
How do we start shifting those negative assumptions and create a more positive reality?
Right.
What specific strategies can we use to make those new assumptions stick, even when faced with challenges and setbacks?
Those are great questions and ones we'll explore further as we continue our deep dive.
All right, so we've covered some pretty mind-bending stuff, but I want to talk about how to actually use this stuff.
That's the exciting part.
Yeah.
The source material has like this thought experiment for this.
Okay.
Imagine you're standing at a crossroads.
Okay, 2 paths.
Exactly.
Yeah.
One path leads to more of like the same old struggles and limitations you've been experiencing.
Right.
The other path, well, that one leads to like the life you truly desire,
Okay.
filled with everything you've been visualizing: abundance, joy, fulfillment, the whole 9 yards.
Sign me up for path number 2.
But here's the catch.
Okay.
You can only take the path that aligns with your dominant assumptions.
So if I'm secretly assuming I'm not worthy of success or happiness, I'm going to end up on that first path, the struggle path, even if I consciously want something different.
It's like our subconscious assumptions are a powerful GPS guiding us toward destinations we might not even realize we've programmed in.
Wow.
That's why becoming aware of those hidden beliefs is so crucial.
Yeah.
We need to rewrite the map if we want to change where we end up.
Okay, that metaphor really clicks, but how do we actually rewrite that map?
Right.
It sounds daunting.
It can be challenging, but the source emphasizes the power of conscious choice.
Okay.
We have the power to decide what we want to believe,
Right.
even if it feels counterintuitive at first.
So we're like actively choosing our assumptions instead of letting them choose us.
Precisely.
Okay.
Instead of assuming scarcity, choose abundance. Instead of assuming failure, choose success.
Yeah.
Instead of assuming loneliness, choose love.
It starts with a decision.
But what if our current reality seems to completely contradict those new assumptions?
Right.
What if I'm facing financial hardship right now or going through relationship troubles? How do I hold on to those positive beliefs when life feels really tough?
That's where persistence and unwavering faith come in.
Okay.
This is a journey, not an instant fix.
Right.
The source reminds us that reality is like a massive ship. It doesn't turn on a dime. Because we've shifted our internal compass doesn't mean the external world will rearrange itself overnight.
So we have to be patient.
Patience is key, and so is being relentless in our commitment to those new beliefs.
Okay.
It's like setting a thermostat. We choose the desired temperature and trust the system to work until the room reaches that point.
Right.
Our assumptions work similarly.
Okay.
Set them firmly, and reality will eventually adjust to match.
I'm starting to get it, but what about when doubt creeps in?
Yeah.
It's easy to get discouraged when things aren't changing right away.
Sure.
How do we stay on course? Doubt is natural. It's part of the process.
Right.
But the Source offers a powerful reminder.
Okay.
Whatever we persist and whatever we deeply feel to be true will ultimately become our reality.
Yeah.
It's not just about thinking it, it's about feeling it in our bones.
Yeah.
It's about embodying those new assumptions, living them as if they're already our present reality, even when the external evidence hasn't quite caught up yet.
So it's like we're acting as if until it becomes our actual reality.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay.
And one of the most effective ways to make those new assumptions stick is to act in alignment with them. If you're assuming abundance, maybe you start managing your money differently or exploring new opportunities.
Okay.
If you're assuming love, maybe you start putting yourself out there more or treating yourself with more kindness and compassion.
So it's a combination of inner belief and outer action working together to create lasting change.
Exactly. It's a dynamic interplay between our internal world and our external world. And the more we align those two worlds, the more powerful the transformation becomes.
This has been an incredible deep dive.
It really has.
We've explored some pretty mind-bending concepts, but I think the key takeaway is this: our assumptions have incredible power to shape our reality.
Yes.
So choose them wisely.
Beautifully said. And as the source material concludes, what will you assume?
Wow, that's a powerful question to ponder. If you could assume anything about your future, what would it be? What reality would you choose to create? That's something for all of us to think about. And on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive for today. Thanks for joining us.